So, you can ask questions. No German. No questions? Yeah, you want to do.
Just I saw the YouTube last talk, which you talk about meditation in the forest.
Yeah?
You say that practice really progress in what they call the meditation. You have to start morning when you wake up to go until it goes at night to go sleep. Otherwise, even after how many years your practice will just like that. Right? So for us laymen, okay, then we have the book. So what's the best way to train this photo?
You don't.
Even in, I read in Mongkam Mahamud's Path to Arahantship. He mentioned also initially, first few years, his practice also up and down,
Yeah.
Then only when he used this
Photo.
meditation as anchor, then morning he practiced, then his what they call his practice.
Yeah. Yes.
So for us laymen, we have to work all these things. How best to practice so that we can also meditate?
Yeah. At least, I mean, it doesn't go up like this, it goes up slowly. I mean, do as much formal practice as you can, yeah? I mean, before you go to work, practice 1 hour, yeah? Or 45 minutes, yeah? And then eat, yeah? And then whenever you have to wait for the bus, if you have to wait in the car, do you Buddha, yeah? Or do anapanasati, yeah? I mean, there are so many times where we waste, reading this, reading that, yeah? Or doing things, that we really don't know, I mean, just distracting ourselves. Yeah? And if you use that time instead, for doing your Buddha, then your practice will go up. But the important thing is to do reflection in the evening. What happened in the day? And then we see how we waste our time. Yeah? I mean, last time, last time I was here, I was talking about it. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what we're doing, and that's why we don't change. Yeah? I mean, if you do reflection, if you just go through the whole day, what did I do? And then we see how many useless things we do. And then over the time, if we reflect every day, I mean, reflection actually, what did I say, makes us human beings, yeah? Otherwise, we're just robots, our programs run until we die, yeah? So, doing this reflection, and you will find it is very difficult. Because you don't want to remember, or the kilesas don't want to remember, yeah? All these things that we do. Yeah? But that gives you a keyhole. And if you see, that you waste your time, by doing things, talking to this person that is completely, useless, or doing this that is completely useless, that just drains our energy, and then you start, not doing these things, then you see, you keep the energy. What I mentioned in the talk is, and we do meditation, 1 hour, 2 hours, and then we give it all the energy to the kilesas, to waste them. Yeah? It's just like, you fill up your car, yeah? And then the kilesas take the car for a ride, and dump it wherever, there's no more gas in the tank. Yeah? And then you have to look for the car, bring it back to the gas station, fill it up again, and then you waste it, and then you give it again to the people. That's how you can advance. But reflection is a key point. Knowing what you're doing, why you're doing it, with what results it has. And people don't love it. They don't like it. They just want to play around. Yeah? You don't want to think about what results are. Just the thought comes in, let me do this, and then we go ahead and do it. Yeah? We never check it out, If you go and buy some things, in the store, yeah, and it's not useful, you're not going to buy it again. Yeah? But with the things we think we want to do, we never check them out. Yeah? Or have you checked it out, if that what you do is useful? Or makes you happy? No, normally not. You do the reflection? No? It's difficult. It is really difficult. And the power is behind the kilesas, because they don't want you to see what they are up to. Yeah? It's just like a thief. He doesn't want, the kilesas are like thieves, they're stealing our time, yeah? Stealing our attention, stealing our energy. And they hate it, or they don't like it, when we look over their shoulders and see how they do it. Because then we could stop it. As long as we don't look over their shoulders and see how they do it, they will still keep doing it and doing it and doing it. So you understand. I practice as a layperson while working, for 2.5 years, and it steadily increased. Yeah? But I was doing a lot of it. Yeah, I wasn't married, I didn't have any children, I just had my work. In the morning I did 1 hour, when I came back from work I did an hour, and sometimes, before I went to sleep I did an hour. And on the weekends I did 6 hours of practice. Yeah? And while I was, cycling to my workplace, I did putu. Yeah? And when I was waiting for the train, I was doing putu. I was not looking left or right. Yeah? I wasn't watching TV. I wasn't reading newspapers. Yeah? I always tried to be very mindful, very aware of what I'm doing. That's how you can do it as a layperson. Yeah? And even that, makes your life very happy, very contented, because you can cut out all the corners that make you unhappy. And you can even clear the problems that you think you have, yeah? Because they're very easy to clear them out once you observe them. What is really the problem? The problem is not within our body, The problem is within our head. Yeah? We don't like this, we don't like that, we like to have this and we like to have that. Yeah? And once we cut down on this, why should I have it? It doesn't make me happy anyway, yeah? Then there's no more problem. And if we don't like this, but it still happens to us, then we just accept it. Yeah? Just like you accept the rain cloud when it comes, and the rain pours down. Yeah? You have to accept it anyway. Yeah? When was the flood in Penang? Yeah? People had to accept it. They couldn't do anything against it. Yeah? But if they didn't like it, it really upsets them. And if they're just, okay, whatever happens, happens, yeah? We cannot stop it. Yeah? Then you feel much more comfortable, you feel much more contented. Okay? So, why so quiet, yeah? Yeah. Yeah.
So I keep on doing the Buddha, whatever I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buddha.
Yeah.
And I go to sleep. Sometimes I get so tired with the recitation. So I stop. And then the thoughts come in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I will Buddha again. And it is like so tired of doing it, but after a little while, it becomes a second nature. You just keep on doing it.
Yeah.
But then when you sit, it becomes very calm and very peaceful. You can get into the stage of calmness.
Yeah.
And the thoughts stop.
Yeah.
Very fast. And the awareness becomes clear.
Yes.
But somehow I cannot get into very deep absorption.
Not yet. How long are you doing it? Huh? What we need in practice is patience, yeah? I mean, it's just like the child after half a year, I cannot walk, I cannot walk, I cannot walk, why cannot walk? Yeah? It just has to train more. Be more interested in the Buddha. That is what, what makes you feel tired, yeah? You're not really interested. At the moment you use it as a mantra to chuck out all these thoughts, yeah? Now, when the thoughts are gone, you are much more interested. How is this Buddha? How does it differentiate? Is it slow? Is it fast? Is it deep? Is it shallow? Yeah? This knowingness leads you to the knowingness of the citta. Yeah? So you have to get more interested. Yeah? People always get frustrated or tired if they're not interested. It's just like when you had to read a paper, or read an article, and you're not really interested in the subject, so you didn't understand it. Yeah? Be interested.
You said the Buddha starting is citing the Buddha. The three as a mantra without understanding, without anything. Buddha, to keep first develop calmness. Yes, is first stage of self-hypnotizing, hypnotize yourself. You can come to the stage.
I have difficulty understanding.
Well, that's what thinking. You use the Buddha to citations, it becomes a mantra without understanding.
Yeah.
Yes, recite. Then you use a stage that you feel really calm.
Yes.
This comes the stage of self-hypnotize. Then there comes the second stage of using it's more towards vipassana. Then you understand your Buddha is long, short, brief, meaning this into vipassana. Is it?
It's not vipassana, but it's still calm meditation. Yeah, but it's a second.
Samadhi.
Yeah, samadhi. I mean, investigation is something I'll talk about tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, vipassana means insight. Insight means only can happen if we understand things. Yeah, if the insight, seeing inside of our nature. Yeah, and that needs a different kind of technique. Yeah, I mean, calm meditation is just like you sleep. Yeah, you get rest, you get energized, but that's it. You don't get any insight from it. And there's the other thing, it's called vipassana, leading to insight, and that's what we normally call contemplation. So you investigate something. You investigate pain, or you investigate fear, or you investigate the body. That's what leads to insight. Yeah? But this kind of contemplation is like work, because we have to use our thoughts. And that makes us tired. That's why we need samadhi to rest and get energized again. Just like you sleep, yeah. Without sleeping, you couldn't go the next day to work, yeah. So there are two different strains, yeah, in meditation or practice. There's the samatha, the calm meditation that gives us not only energizing us, but also happiness, yeah, or contentment, yeah. And then there's the work that we have to do, and the work is there, to cut down on the kilesas. That's a contemplation. And talk about in the next days how to do that. Be patient, be patient, be patient. Yeah, we don't like to be patient. The older we get, the more impatient we are.
Sometimes I will say the Buddha very fast when the thoughts comes in.
Yeah.
But when the mind is quiet, I just Buddha.
Yeah, that's okay.
And it's fine. But when the moment it stops, there's a gap. Then the thought comes in, the thoughts come in.
Yes.
And I have to Buddha. And then
That's okay, and that is still the training. But now, when the Buddha is slow, get more interested in the quality of the Buddha. Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it deep? Is it shallow? Yeah. Let the Buddha, take the whole of your heart. Yeah. Let it drop into the heart. Yeah. Because that's really, in the beginning it is really the mantra. But the mantra is in the brain, But over time, over training, the mantra resides actually in the heart, yeah? And it sooner or later will drop into the heart, and then where you can hear the mantra.
Yes, because there are times when I meditate, in my meditation, the Buddha and the mind just get into one.
That's right.
Into one.
Yeah.
Just stay one like that. And,
Yeah.
and it's very, and I feel very, like, how do you say that, continuous? So
Yeah.
I feel very good.
Yes?
Yeah. But
And
it's just for a short while only.
yeah. Wow. I mean, it's just like a child, I mean, it learns how to stand and it can run for 5 minutes, yeah, and then boops, it falls. So, what does the child have to do? Train more. Yeah? Be patient. It will come. I mean, if you already have the first, I mean, even if it's just a minute, I mean, this nice feeling that you get, I mean, it is encouraging us to continue. And now your kilesas come and why is it not longer? Why is it not longer? Why is it not longer? They want to stop you. And with this, I mean, with this they discourage you. Yeah? No, just go on. I mean, you get enough, incentive, from getting this calm. Just go on. It's not going to from one day to the next, I mean, it's long training. Okay? And be more interested. That's the key. The more you're interested, and the more easy it falls into the heart, and that's where you can observe it much better. Speak a little bit louder, I mean, it just, this hall takes all.
I don't use Buddha.
Yeah? Use Anapanasati.
So when I come to the state of calmness,
Yeah?
after some form of Samadhi, I notice that my mind becomes note some changes in the body.
Knows what?
Like I know something happening in the body.
Yeah.
So like the spine, it becomes feel like it's straight, and then there's some ticklish the bones, the spinal cord. So
In the spine, huh?
Yeah, the spinal cord.
Mm.
So you see, okay that I just don't and then see what happens.
Yeah. I mean,
The form of
with Anapanasati, it is more it's a little bit more difficult. Yeah. I mean, of course, you will know a lot of things, and you should not get distracted. You should keep your attention focused on the breath. I mean, this is just a little bit more difficult. I mean, focusing the attention on the Buddha, it is easier because you don't know so many things. But with the breath, you feel the whole body. And there are a lot of things that you suddenly start to know. And that's where your attention slightly shifts to these things, and you don't notice it. So I mean, when you notice something happens in the spine, go back to the breath. How is the breath now? And always go back to the breath until it becomes really deep. It's also the feelings. A lot of people, I mean, when they do the breath meditation, there is this pleasant feeling arising, then they jump to this pleasant feeling, and then this pleasant feeling disappears. If you stay at the Buddha, if you stay with the breath, the pleasant feeling becomes more and more and more.
I don't practice Anapanasati.
Yeah?
I go
No. Stay here. I mean, that gives you a certain kind of calmness, but there's a lot of agitation coming through that movement of the abdomen, yeah? Just stay here. Don't follow the breath. We want to get one-pointed, yeah?
You can notice the breath,
Yeah.
long, short,
Yes.
the beginning,
Yeah.
the ending.
Yeah, but stay here, yeah? And then at the beginning you will feel the breath, and then you just know the breath. Yeah? It's very different, because the breath becomes so really subtle that we can't even feel it anymore, but we know it. And the knowingness is much clearer than the feeling. Knowing the breath goes in, and even notice, how the breath stops, yeah? I mean, it always stops, yeah? From in-breath, the in-breath, then it stops. And then the out-breath comes. Then it stops, then the in-breath comes. Then it stops, then the out-breath comes. Yeah? Notice the whole cycle, and it becomes so interesting that...
That's meaning you follow the breath.
No, you don't follow. You stay here.
But you notice the breath go in, stop, and out, stop.
No. You notice the breath, just close your eyes and you notice the breath going in and you notice the breath going out. You don't follow. Because if you follow, you will never get one pointed. You always follow some object, and it is more difficult to realize that you get off your object. When you are always at one point of concentration, you very easily notice when the chitta goes out. Yeah.
It's okay to know
No, I mean don't note it. Yeah, I mean when you are a little bit, yeah, or when there's pain.
Yeah, pain or any.
I mean we only go to the pain when the pain is so distracting that we cannot focus on the breath. Don't follow the breath. Just, put your attention on here, yeah? And just know it. In the beginning, feel the breath going in, feel the breath going out. Don't follow the breath. Yeah?
And follow the breath.
Yeah.
And it's pause.
Yeah.
I look into the gap.
Yeah. But look at here. You can look here.
Look here.
Yeah. Because, yes, it is easier. Yeah? And because it is easier, it tells us, we are more easily distracted. Yeah? Keeping the Buddha all the time, it is very difficult, very tiring. And staying there all the time, the kilesas don't like it. The kilesas always like to move. That's they're very agile. Yeah? They like to move, yeah? So they like this. Yeah? They like to go in, go out, go in, go out, yeah? But they don't like to stay at one point. Yeah? Because then they can't act anymore. Yeah? So that's why we should, having the Buddha, or, having, focus just here around, where you feel the breath, yeah? And then you will see, you will know the breath, yeah? But your point of focus is still there.
My main purpose of practicing meditation is I find that when after I practice meditation, my quality of life when I'm not meditating, it improves.
Yeah.
So this is my main objective.
Yeah.
So that I don't get into, I'm more focused in the sense my priority. I get my priority right in my daily life. It's not more on getting out of samsara, although it is also a way to get out.
Not yet. Yes, of course, if you become more aware, we can solve problems much easier.
Yeah.
Yes, meditation, if you do it correctly, gives more quality to that. But still, there are lots of things, that still bother you.
After practicing, I find that the quality of my daily life,
Yes?
improves.
Yes, it will improve just a little bit, yeah?
I think a lot.
Yeah.
So
if you do...
Is it okay?
Sure. Everything...
So we are laymen or we are not monks.
Yeah. No. It is okay. But the question I was asking is, every one of you has to decide what he wants to do with the rest of his life. It's up to you. You don't do that for me. You don't do that for anybody. You do it for yourself. So the question is, what is the purpose of my life? That's a question you should ask yourself, and the answer that you get, is that what you follow up? Yeah? No matter what it is. Yeah? If you want to get out, that's fine, that is one way. If you want to stay in, then at least paint it, nicely, get some quality in your life. Yeah? But don't underestimate the karma that waits for us. Yeah? Be aware, the karma that we take into this life is a tiny bit, of the karma that we have stored up there. Yeah? So next life, can be, determined by other karma. Yeah? But, if you practice to the end, to the time of your death, then this karma will certainly carry you on. Be a little bit, be a little bit more aware. Yeah? Ask what you want. Yeah? If you want to go in the direction, just go in the direction. But also, like I said before, do some reflection. Yeah? And then you see, though you see it becomes happier, you see there's a lot of problems there. When you do the reflection in the evening. But for some people it can happen. They do it automatically, and other people they just do it practice. The more aware we are, the more happy we are, and the more things are going smoothly. Just like Lungta Mahaprabhu said, if we have sati, and that is the awareness. If we have sati, whatever we do, it is mostly right. If we don't have sati, all things go wrong. It's one thing, but it's not, it's just a tiny part of the practice. Yeah? Okay? If you understand that, ask yourself what you want. It's your life, you take the responsibility.
What I mean is, if we practice this,
yeah?
The chances of being in the human realm again, reborn, or on a higher realm.
No, I told you before what leads to the higher realm, and what you need to do is, if you keep the 5 precepts, that gives you the entry, to the human realm. If you don't keep them, you have to go down. Yeah? If you keep them, and if you develop generosity, respect, gratitude, that can lead you up to the higher realms. The path is clear. Just like you go to university and say, I want to become a, doctor, and then they tell you have to do this, and then you can finish. Yeah? The Lord Buddha said, if you want to become rich, you have to become very generous. Yeah? If you want to become beautiful, you have to give yourself, to others. Yeah? Do things for others, don't think about yourself. It's very... pretty clear, The teaching of the Lord Buddha is pretty clear, If you want to achieve this, you have to do this. As I said before, nothing is free in this world. If you want to have some money, you have to work, You understand? Yeah? So, it's not so easy to go up, Don't think, just meditation brings you up. No. The requirements for going up in the heaven, I told you. The requirements to become a human being, I told you. Yeah? And the other things, the Lord Buddha said it all these things, Meditation is something, to bring more sati in our life, more awareness, And the more aware we are, the less mistakes we do. You can... If you have sati, you cannot possibly harm any other being. There's no interest in it. But if you have no sati, you say words that hurt other people, or you do deeds that hurt other people. So sati is very important. So I mean, it does improve the life. Yeah? And meditation, that develops sati, I mean, it's always good. It's not that good. But that's not the end. And it's not the way up. Yeah? Okay? Understood? Other questions? Yeah? Speak a little bit louder.
Is guarding the mind considered as sati?
Yes. Yeah. But sati is also, knowing what is going on in the chitta. It's not only guarding, yeah? Guarding is the first step, guarding that nothing unwholesome is coming into the chitta. But sati really is the awareness. If there is a sense impression, sati knows it, yeah? If there is a reaction in the chitta, sati knows it, yeah? And only if we know there's a reaction, then we can stop it. That is sati. Yeah? It's awareness of what is every mind moment that is going on in the chitta. So sati has to be very fast. Because within the blink of the eye, we can get very angry.
Yeah, it's not easy, but have to be trained. Have to keep on guarding them.
Yeah, that is certainly the first step, guarding the mind, and knowing what is going on in the chitta, before it actually, goes out. Okay. So,
By just reciting Buddha can bring us into very deep samadhi.
yes. Yeah. Ask
For
her.
those who cannot do the anapanasati, so just recite Buddha.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter if you take Buddha or if you take Anapanasati. Yeah? You can go into very deep samadhi, you can even go into Apana Samadhi.
Buddha in meditation, after a long time, the Buddha just go away. Just go away.
No.
It just
No.
go away, then the breath
Yes.
comes, and then the thoughts come in, I have to do Buddha again. It's just like you cannot stop the Buddha.
Yeah. But that's where you have not enough interest in the Buddha. The Buddha does not go away. Yeah. At the end before you enter Apana or deep samadhi, yeah. Just to think one thought is so burdensome that you can't even think it anymore. And then you have to jump into Apana Samadhi. If the Buddha gets lost, just like the breath gets lost, it's just you're losing your interest in the Buddha. That means you have no more interest. Yeah? Some people say, oh, my breath disappears. No, it doesn't disappear. The interest in our breath disappears. That's what disappears. Because just like with the Buddha becomes, you cannot even think one more thought because, the mind gets so concentrated, so extremely concentrated, you cannot think. With the breath stops. It doesn't disappear, it stops, it really stops. You're dead. Yeah? 200 years ago, they buried the people who went into Apana Samadhi because breath stops, heart stops, everything stops, yeah? But they are not medicine, they are physical. I don't know there are two different terms. They found it out only 50 or 60 years ago because they had the measurements, they could still see the body still is alive. But before they had any measurements, they thought the people are dead. 7 days later they came back and said, oh, why am I under earth? Why did they bury me already? Or some even, woke up, after 3 days when they are still, not buried yet, and people were running away because they were ghost. Yeah? The breath really stops. Yeah? And you don't have to be afraid of that. You just know and you jump, the same thing when you can't think Buddha, you jump to the knowingness. And that is difficult because we are always afraid of dying. That's where you can enter deep samadhi. And deep samadhi is really I mean, it's really a preview of Nibbana. That's where, and when you come out, I mean, you want to go back. You don't want to go back into this world with all these senses, bombarding you. Yeah? I mean, it is, it's just like, you're in one of these war games, everybody's shooting at you. Yeah? I mean, you don't like that, yeah? And the senses are just like that. The impression when we enter this Apana Samadhi, I mean, for a long enough time, I mean, maybe an hour or 2 hours, when we come out, we feel like all these senses are just like machine guns shooting at us. And you don't like that, yeah? But you get used to it, I mean, after an hour you get used to it, and you play around. Yeah?
But I've come across an experience when, after coming out from meditation, Samadhi actually is very
Yeah.
interesting. I find that I'm quite happy for a few days.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that
Yes. And that is a byproduct, yeah.
byproduct?
Yeah.
You seem to be happy, even people irritate
Yes.
you.
Yes.
You don't feel it.
Big-
You still feel
Yes.
it. So there is a deep Samadhi.
No. That's still Upachara Samadhi. But, I mean, because you had this experience, before, yeah, I mean, you're still doing the practice that it continues, yeah. But after 3 or 4 days, it diminishes, yeah. Because the practice to sustain that feeling of happiness is not enough, yeah. In the beginning you did it, and it happens, and then you still can, and you still can profit from it for a few days, yeah. Some people only for 5 minutes, other people, for a few days.
It's a very wonderful experience.
Yeah.
In the Samadhi. It comes
And it's a special,
few
yeah.
seconds only, actually. Because I can feel the...
No, it's not seconds. It's for us, we think it's seconds, yeah? But actually the time is much longer.
I don't know, I feel that it's like
Yes.
a sonic boom.
Yeah.
I heard a noise.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's an electrical impulse
Yeah.
shooting up. And no need further, it disappeared.
Yeah.
Then after coming out from that, I was very happy for 3 days. 3 to 4 days.
That's okay.
Okay.
Just, yeah. I mean, that is the fruit of our work, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
You just go ahead and do it again.
But that was only once a year.
And you know why? Because we're looking for this experience and not doing our work.
I have other more nasty experience.
Yeah, no, I mean, you will never ever have the same experience. Yeah. It is a similar experience, yeah, and it changes, according, yeah. But the problem is we always look for the same experience, we never can find it. While we forget to do the work that led in the first place to this experience. And when you remember what kind of work you did, I mean, you were really focused on this breath, yeah? And were not interested in anything at all. Until it made boom, and then, I mean, the mind closes in, and then it is happy. Yeah? So do the same work, and you will get similar result.
But it's not the same, exactly.
No, it's never the same, but it's very similar. And this kind of experience, I mean, if you got it the first time, I mean, you can have it very often.
Yeah, another one is quite nasty. In the sense
What?
Another one is quite nasty.
Nasty.
In the sense that you get a sharp pain in the heart. Very hard. Then when I was sitting, so I feel very distorted. But after the pain goes off, when I come out, I find everything is so clear. So, yeah, another type of experience.
Were you looking? Huh? No, that's not. But the result of, not giving in to the pain, can lead to samadhi.
No, what I do is I really know the pain.
Yes.
The pain is there, but I know until it disappears. Then after that, when I come
Yes.
out,
And the pain is, the kilesas don't like to be concentrated, so they send out pain, to distract you. But you don't get distracted. So the pain is not really samadhi, and it is sharp pain. It can be a lot of things. It can be sharp pain, it can be a karmic experience from a previous life, where somebody shot you in the heart, that can come up. Previous death can come up, or when you shoot somebody, whatever. Or it can just be the pain of the kilesas. Sometimes the pain of the kilesas are very strong, and we don't give in, and that's where we end up in samadhi. We don't get distracted, and we still stick to the breath, no matter if there's a pain or not pain. The pain has nothing to do with the samadhi.
But the thing is, I cannot concentrate on the breath.
Then you concentrate on the pain. Yes.
Until it goes on.
When you listen to some of my talks, just investigating pain, can lead to samadhi. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter what object we use. We can use the Buddha, we can use the breath, or we can use pain. But pain, people don't like it, if you can, if it doesn't matter to you, it is very painful and you can stay on the pain. It can lead, it's just an object. And concentrating on one object, it can lead to samadhi. And the good thing about pain is, we don't think a lot about it. We don't get any excursive thoughts. The pain is so much, we don't get any excursive thoughts. So it is a wonderful object, especially if you get bored during your meditation, pain comes up. Now I have a stable object. It doesn't move.
During the sit, when I had this pain in the heart, I was also investigating. And, I think so far I haven't heard the thought comes in. I haven't come across people dying or maybe the heart stop during meditation. So with that I was quite brave enough to go through the pain.
But these kind of experience, come from previous lives, these kind of insights come from previous lives, it's not, you must have been practicing quite a lot, because these kind of results, not everybody gets.
I've been practicing for 10 years. So
I know people who are practicing for 40 years.
But not very well. Although I practice daily, but it's not fixed time basis.
I've seen people, practicing for 20 years, not getting any result. I've seen people, practicing for 10 days, dropping into Upachara Samadhi. I've seen people practicing for 3 weeks, dropping into deep Samadhi. Just the whole world disappears, everything disappears. But I've seen also people, most of the people never ever have this. So that all depends on our previous lives, how much we are practicing. So don't think, everybody can do it. It's not everybody. Most of us will have to work very hard. But if you work hard, we will get results. Yes, Michelle. But as long as we are interested in all these excursive thoughts, we don't get results.
Because of these experiences,
Huh?
is it okay that it's because of this experience that's why I continue?
Of course. It is much, of course, yes.
And also it also improved my
Yes, but there are quite a few insights that always that accompany these things, yeah, and that makes your life easier. It's the insight, it's not the calm. The insight, that makes you brave, to go through death, yeah. People, are so afraid of death, they stop that moment, yeah. So that is something that you worked before, yeah.
So because of this experience, especially the heart, so now I don't feel any fear for that.
Yeah, that's good. But you still should investigate death, yeah?
But of course I won't commit suicide.
No, what's the point? If you commit suicide, you will be born instantly. If you commit suicide, you will be born in hell, yeah? So, that's not a good option. Yeah?
No,
I know what you mean. Yeah? Now, even if you die right now, you wouldn't be unhappy. No, practice, but also practice and contemplation, contemplation of the body is very important. And if you have this kind of samadhi, it should get very easy. It shouldn't be very difficult for you. How did you end up coming here anyway?
Last minute.
Karma leads us. So, any more questions? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. No, the pain. The pain. Yeah, you have to, it is such a strong sensation that you automatically divert your attention there. But then stay there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if it is gone, whatever, yes, go back to it. This question I don't understand acoustically. Oh. Then we just... Yeah, you just observe. Yes, you can do it, yeah. But you should also get rid of your negative thoughts. Be really aware that there is no negative thoughts creeping in, yeah. And have matter with the people who are doing this. Yeah. Oh yes, it can be. Yeah. If we tortured other people and other people torture us, it is very difficult.
Another question. Just now you said that because of this pain, maybe it's because of my previous life somebody shot me in the heart.
Yeah.
So is it when we sit in meditation, we actually replay our previous life, and then we may also be paying back our karmic debt.
That's
some people when they sit they cry.
Well, if you really shot another person, in your previous life, you will be killed, yeah? No matter if you are killed by a person or in an accident or something like a very sudden death, yeah? That is your karmic debt. Yeah? What you do is, you get a little bit more calm about the situation. Yeah? You can watch, how many deaths you've gone through,
We are not paying back.
No. But we're preparing ourselves. Yeah.
Replaying our previous.
We're replaying our things, and that can lead to insights. Yeah? How many more times do I have to die in this way, before I become free? Yeah? Please speak up.
Just now she was asking about the pain and was saying that she had to stop negative thought, obviously to calm level.
Yeah?
I feel that there's
Buddha, 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 Buddha. Yeah? While you're looking at the things, that happen in the body. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. That's how you stop it. Then nothing can go in. Yeah? I mean, if you, just like she said, if you stop Buddha for a moment, all these things come back in. Yeah? So you have to say Buddha, 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 Buddha. Yeah, do it the whole day, yeah? And do it the whole night, yeah, until you fall asleep, yeah? That's the best thing you can do. Yeah? And it will, if you do it for a long time, it will diminish, yeah? Slowly, yeah, but it will diminish. They know that they can't come in, and they will keep out. They are never looking for another victim. If there are really forces outside, if it's your karmic force, then it will automatically diminish. Buddha, 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 Buddha.
These thoughts are not our thoughts. It just come, and then if we are smart enough, we know that this is negative and positive.
Yeah.
So we notice even the good thoughts are not our thoughts.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't belong unless we clean it. Then
Yes.
it is our thoughts.
And then you feel it, yeah? As long as you see them passing by, it's just like a...
And go.
Yeah. They come and
Good
go.
thoughts, bad thoughts, they come and go.
Yeah. But now, that is the first step. Now you have to understand how the good thoughts and the bad thoughts arise. So, at the moment you see the clouds are passing by, now you have to go and to see how clouds are appearing. That's where you can stop forever. Yeah. That's where investigation leads you to. How did you get in this body? Yeah? It's an interesting question. Yeah?
Because especially our pain is anicca.
Yeah.
Because we cannot control the pain. So we come out of our meditation and look at the pain as anicca.
Yes, you can use anicca, anatta, dukkha, yeah? But the first thing that you do is when there is pain, then you say there is pain.
Yeah, but when I'm having pain, like suppose when my leg is having pain,
Yeah?
I will just say the mantra anicca, anicca, anicca.
Yeah?
Send the message to the mind that is impermanent. And the
Yeah, but the pain doesn't go away.
pain also will go because it's impermanent, because it will not stay for long.
Yeah, but it stays so long that it's bothering you. Yeah?
It's painful, but once the pain is over, you can overcome the pain, and after that,
Yeah.
go to a sleep.
The problem is, you don't learn what is pain. You only say it's anicca. Of course, pain is anicca. Everything in this world is anicca. But you don't understand what is pain. And you don't understand where is pain coming from.
The pain is coming from the body here, not the mind. So,
No, it's not the body.
so I separate the pain from the mind.
Yeah? That is one thing, yeah? But then you have to look, where is this pain coming from? The moment you get up, there's no more pain. How can it be the body?
The pain comes because we sit too long.
See, that's why you don't understand what is pain. The moment, next time, you're really in strong pain, get up and the pain is gone. How can it be in the body? Huh? It's magic. The moment you stop, the moment you stop meditating, the pain is gone. You get up from your seat and the pain is gone. How can it be? Yeah? If you really have physical pain, no matter if you lie down, if you stand, if you sit, there is pain. So that's why you have to investigate what is pain. Yeah? You really have to understand the nature of pain. And that's why you have to sit through pain. And not everybody can do that. You really, I mean, you have to look at what is pain, where is the pain? You just say anicca and anicca. It is some sort of aversion that you put in this anicca, anicca, anicca. I don't want to really see it.
Actually, for her, I believe she's trying to take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. She tries to, aversion is something, not avoiding, to know what is pain.
For my case, is that I don't avoid it, I just know it.
Yes, that is, that is the first step.
Until it disappears.
The first thing is, but you don't ask.
I want it to disappear. It just go off by itself.
That's right, because you're accepting it.
Yeah.
But you still don't ask the question, what is pain?
Yeah, I don't know. Because
That's right.
My first.
I mean, you can't do it with the pain, that is, goes right through the heart, but you can do it with body pain that comes through sitting. Just sit, for 3 hours and then you will know what is pain.
I find that this meditation pain, it's not a body pain.
Yeah, but you have, yes, we understand it here. That's not enough. Here. The heart has to know to let go. The heart has to know what pain is. Here we understand it very easily. She says anicca, anicca, anicca. And you say, okay, the pain, it comes from meditation, so that's not really a right understanding. The heart has to understand. The heart attaches to these things. The heart attaches to the body. So you have to show the heart, what is pain. The mind understands it very easily. The heart doesn't understand it very easily. It likes, it attaches to all these things. It attaches to thoughts, it attaches to feeling, it attaches to the body. So that's why you have to show, and that's why you do, that's what this investigation is about. Show the heart that it attaches to the wrong things. And you have to show it over and over and over again until the heart understands and lets it go. But that's enough, I'm not going into the subject today. Today was the question, what are we doing with the rest of our life? Are we dilly-dallying? Are we wasting it? Are we killing our time waiting for death? Why are we born? That's a question. So, and then with this, also go and practice a little bit. Or you have more questions? Yeah?
When we do this Buddha meditation, we have to find our own rhythm.
Yeah?
So sometimes if the thoughts come,
Yeah?
then we have to do it fast, right?
You can do it as you like, yes. Of course, if the thoughts are coming and don't let go, you repeat it fast, if the mind is calm, it will. After a while, it will adjust itself, according to the situation. And then it becomes, like she said, it becomes slow, But then, you can't let it stop, because that's where you lose interest and you don't notice it, And that's where the thoughts are coming in again,
So when you slow down,
it can vary, but normally it goes from fast, and then it finds its own pace,
then after that, can you bring your attention to go and bring attention?
Don't do that, it automatically will fall into the heart. You have to wait. Patience. You always try to control. We are brought, also you are brought up, in a Western style to try to control the situations. We have to be patient, observe the situations. We cannot control anything. When the heart is ready, then it falls into the heart. Until the heart is not ready, it will not fall into the heart. We cannot make it fall. We can do our work, just digging a hole at the same spot, then the hole is deep enough until nothing, we're all covered with a hole, we're still digging, and then these things automatically happen. But it is a byproduct of our work, Don't never forget, the work is Just to repeat the Buddha, just to stay with the Buddha, be interested in the Buddha. And everything else, happens by itself. Okay?
Because initially when I practice Buddha, Ajahn take one out, Buddha is saying, Buddha and then bring it to center the heart. So I used to do it like, so when Ajahn teach us Buddha, I feel it automatically after some time it slow down, you alternate bring down to the center of the heart.
That I think you misunderstood it. You don't automatically bring it down, it automatically drops down. Yeah. I mean, bringing down is trying to control it, yeah? And whatever we try to control always, leads to dissatisfaction. It drops down to the heart, yeah? So, that was a misunderstanding. And the heart becomes one thing, yeah? And then you can listen. It is like, you sit in a big cathedral and just listen. Oh, it's amazing. You don't need to do anything because the Buddha has become automatic. Yeah? Once it becomes automatic, yeah, just like Anapanasati becomes automatic, then you just feel it, your whole entity, feels it. But before that, you have to work very hard. And don't give up. Yeah?
Later on, I discovered from other schools not Buddhism, Taoism. So they mentioned about Qi. Come across Qi.
I'm not familiar with it.
Chakra.
Yes. I heard about it. I'm not familiar with it. Then you have to ask somebody who is familiar with it. And it doesn't really matter, the chakras, yes, that is Indian, yeah. There are chakras, there are different energy centers, yeah. But we are not interested in all these things. We are interested, getting the mind calm, getting it aware of what it's doing, yeah, and then, removing all these attachments, yeah? All these clingings. So the more we remove it, the freer we get, and the easier life is, yeah. Nothing really can happen that upsets us. Yeah, don't put so much importance on that. Let the things happen, and then go back to the breath. Yeah.
My other teachers will mention.
Yeah.
The thing is, they use Kundalini.
Yeah. Yeah, they try to bring it out here, that is also controlling. It's kind of practice, to control these flows of energy. Of course, there is a lot of energy. You feel it. How can you not feel it? Yeah, and of course you can try to to put it together. Yeah, but what are you going to do with it? Huh? What's the purpose of it? It's just playing around. Yeah, not leading to any kind of wholesome results. Yeah, people then, try to develop some magic, to hurt other people. That's not a good idea.
Some explanation.
Yeah. Why do we need explanation? If you experience something, if you put your hand, in hot coals, you know the feeling. You don't need an explanation that it's hot and burning. Huh? You don't need it, Once you feel the calm or happiness, that you experience for 3 days, you don't need an explanation, you just feel it. Yes. Whatever people put words on it, it's just, these words, these labels are really deceiving. I have to use it to teach you, to tell you, but I try to tell you the way how to get there. And how it feels like, if it was really or if it's just fake. Yeah.
It's quite, this experience really...
Yeah, it's nice, yeah.
Nice to carry on and investigate whether it will happen again, like science. When you discover something, it must be a method, it must be able to repeat it or what.
Yes.
Because I'm from a science background.
Yeah.
Then it's just not a food shop or what, is it? But I now realize that it's actually it's a flash in the pan. When in meditation, the experience it cannot be the same. See,
No.
it may be similar, but
Yes.
it cannot be the same.
No, it cannot be said. That is not one moment of our life is the same as before. But our mind, likes to find similarities and then says it's the same. It is
Especially
not.
when we are trained in science, we like to experiment it.
Yeah.
And the experiment must be repeating.
I mean, if you have a science background, that means your concentration is good, yeah? And when concentration is good, you get easy results, yeah? And you do, and there's some interest in the work that you're doing, yeah? So keep that up, yeah? But now go on, to contemplation. What is pain, what is the body, what are the parts of the body, what is the purpose of my life, yeah? Ajahn also has a science background, yeah? Computer engineer, yeah? And I was always interested how the mind is working, yeah? But I never could figure it out. But once I went into the heart, I saw it very clearly. And then you don't need any explanation when you see it working. You see how emotions arise, you see how emotions are formed. I mean, it's just like when you go to the mountains and see how an avalanche is created. Just one drop of a little stone. And then it rolls down and takes on snow and takes on snow and takes on snow. It becomes so big and overruns us. And that happens within one blink of an eye. So fast. Our computer is so fast. That's why we have to create the sati that is so fast to catch up with it. So that we see how this creation is done. Yeah? Not just fall for it. Yeah? Just like with a magician, The moment you see how he's doing the trick, there's no magic. But he does it so fast and he diverts our attention, we always, wow, yeah? Wow, how was that? Yeah? How did he do that? You go behind the stage, look. Okay, so for today it's enough. Yeah? See you tomorrow. Practice walking. What?